Today is March 31st. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. Presented by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, the Redbirds 0-1 on the season after dropping the home opener yesterday to the Toronto Blue Jays 10-9. I think, going into this series, going into the first two series, we talked about there's going to be a lot of offense in these first two series against the Blue Jays and the Braves, and that's what we saw yesterday, 34 combined hits.
Really fun, exciting game. Very encouraged by the Cardinal offense. Really knocking the ball all over the yard. We saw power. It was good, and I think that and I wasn't totally discouraged by pitching. Michaelis was not good to start the game out, but he then settled down. So I think just being a little more ready coming out of the bullpen for him. The other thing was Hicks really was a product of some horrible luck. Now, that doesn't mean you still can't, that excuses you. You got to fight through it and find a way. But I mean, you look at his line in the box score, and you would have thought that he was throwing garbage up there. He really threw the ball pretty darn well. Helsley bothered me a little bit, maybe more concerning, but I thought Hicks was a victim of really bad luck.
And, in that first inning too, Michaelis, there were a few bad luck ones where watching it, and I was there, so I didn't have the benefit of seeing multiple replays on TV for a few of them, because I think one thing that comes to mind when you see all the offense and some of the hits that happened yesterday, you say, oh, that's because the shift's not there anymore. I don't know if if the shift would have prevented some of those hits from happening. I think a few of those were just out of the reach of, out of the infielders in front of the outfielders.
Well, so what if they were? So what if the shift would have caught them? So what?
Yeah,
we're not playing last year.
We're not, and we're not. And that's, I think, just the thing that is going to take some adjustments from all the players. And I think that's just one of those where you look at it and you go, okay, is that a loss because maybe there's some adjustments to the new rules? Is that a loss because, you just kind of look at it and, that way you're not sitting here worrying about the next 161 games.
No, I don't think so. I just don't think Miles was dialed in when the game started.
Okay.
Because he did get better. I'm not going to go there with that. Cardinals got beat, and I really think the killer, you could have won it in the ninth with Helsley. To repeat myself, a little concerned, but the bad luck that Hicks had, I think, was what ended up costing him.
Yeah, the Cardinals yesterday, you look at some of the nice offensive numbers they had. Brendan Donovan homers, Tyler O'Neill homers, Jordan Walker with his first major league hit in his first major league at bat, and it was really fun to see the 20-year-old rounding first base and coming back and the excitement that he had, because you see the guy, and I mean he's enormous. He is such an enormous individual. And to have him out there just acting like a kid, because he is. I mean, he's 20 years old. It's really fun to see, and it brings you back down and reminds you that this is just a game.
I got to be honest. I'm getting old and emotional. When he got the hit, I got a little choked up. It was just an awesome moment. And he got the first one out of the way, right away. And I was really fired up for that.
Yeah, that Blue Jays offense too. I mean, we talk about how much fun the Cardinal lineup looks 1 through 9. That Blue Jays lineup doesn't stop either. And I guess I didn't realize going into it, and I know we read the lineups yesterday, I didn't realize that they had acquired Dalton Varsho over the offseason, and you just plug him right in there to that cleanup spot for the team. And he is, he's one of those guys that kind of just wasted away a bit in Arizona, didn't do much with the Diamondbacks, and now you put him on a team with a contender, and I think people are going to learn his name as the season goes on.
I'm not really willing to make that commitment yet, but I do agree with you. If a guy is going to kind of have a resurgence, being in a stacked lineup to protect him, and that kind of stuff is contagious. So I would say definitely keep an eye out for him.
Yeah. George Springer on pace for 810 hits on the season after the first game of the year. I imagine he doesn't play all 162 on the season, so I don't think he's going to get to that 810 number. But we can hope, and we can follow along at least this weekend and see how he does and if he stays on pace for that.
I don't want to hear any complaints for him when he hits a screamer right at somebody and he's pissed. He got so much garbage off those hits. Even he was laughing by the time that fifth hit rolled around. He knew he was just living right. So he's going to hit a couple of screamers coming up, and that's it. Don't worry about it. Go sit down.
So this weekend the Cardinals we will see Jack Flaherty toe the rubber tomorrow. Jordan Montgomery pitching on Sunday's game, and man, I know it's early in the season. I know it's first weekend of the season, but I got to tell you, I'm going to be reading a lot into to what Jack Flaherty does tomorrow in this first start.
Yeah, because we saw spring training and it was uneven at best. So let's see where we can. If he's really good, we'll say, oh well, he was just working on things. And if he's not so good, we'll say that's a continuation of what we saw in the spring. I'm with you. I'm really anxious to see him throw.
So the Cardinals will go up against Kevin Gausman tomorrow, a guy that they have seen a few times. I know Paul Goldschmidt has some decent numbers against Gausman in his career. Last year, Nolan Gorman actually 2 for 5 against Gausman with a home run during the times that they saw them. On Sunday too, if you're looking ahead at that one, Jordan Montgomery, who I expect him to have a huge year for the Cardinals. I actually think Jordan Montgomery is going to have the best numbers of any starter for the Cardinals this season. But going into the game, a lot of these Blue Jay players have seen Jordan Montgomery from his time with the Yankees, and Bo Bichette 6 for 11 against Jordan Montgomery during their time in the AL East with 2 home runs. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's not a good matchup going into Sunday for the Cardinals.
It's the big leagues.
Yeah, it is. As we look around the rest of baseball yesterday, Rammer, anything that you had a chance to see throughout all 15 Major League games, the first time since 1968 that every single team in Major League Baseball opened their season on the exact same day?
I noticed there were a number of aces that really struggled in game one. You kind of expect the hitters to struggle a little bit at the beginning of the year. A lot of runs scored all over the game. There were some good pitching outings too, but there were a couple of aces that you go, wow, rough start for whoever, fill in the blank. And I'm like you, really excited for the start of the season. And so much fun this morning going through every single box score. Baseball's back, and it feels really good.
Yeah, that's going around and watching all the games. I ended up staying up and watching all the way till the end of the Angels A's game last night. Shohei was just really on good. Fire on the mound. 10 strikeouts for him to start the year, and you kind of you're sitting there, you're watching Mike Trout, you're watching Shohei Ohtani, and then you're trying to figure out who the hell else the Angels have to throw out there.
They need the aged Rendon to really, he needs to bounce back to what he was before the pandemic. If he can come close to that, then I think they'll start to get a little balance in their lineup. Otherwise, they got 2 guys.
They had mentioned on the I was listening to the A's broadcast yesterday, watching the A's broadcast yesterday, and Dallas Braden is their color commentator, and he's entertaining to listen to. And they were talking about Rendon's numbers. He has missed over 300 games for the Angels since they signed him after that 2019 World Series championship.
It really changed the trajectory of where they thought they were going.
But on top of that, I mean, they don't have Even if Rendon comes out there and is a star, then it just ends there. I mean, you're going, 1-2 drop off. If you have Rendon, it just goes 1-2-3 and then drop off. I don't know how many more wins that adds to that team. So that, I don't know.
What would his ideal wins above replacement be? 6, 8?
Okay.
8 more wins. There you go.
Yeah, that's I still don't know if that's making the playoffs in the AL West with the Mariners and the Astros out there as well. Rammer, yesterday we saw the all of the traditions, the home opening traditions yesterday. The Red Jackets all out there. Scott Rowland throwing out the first pitch to Matt Holliday, but then I believe a Cardinal first as a member of the active roster sings the national anthem. Adam Wainwright gets out there and does something special in his final season, his last home opener. Your thoughts on Adam Wainwright's rendition of the national anthem?
I just think he's a beautiful human being, and we've been lucky as a community to be associated with him. And you would expect that association and the things he does for other people, charities and just acts of kindness, that he stays, even if it's a small part, but a part of our community. He is absolutely one of a kind.
I thought it was great as you saw the players' reactions around him, because I mean, 100% of the Cardinals did not know that was about to happen. There might have been a couple that knew that was happening, but you saw the look on people's faces. And then I asked people that would have been in the know later. I said, "Do you know that was happening?" And I had one person say, "I thought everybody knew that." Was like they thought that was common knowledge that it was out there. And I will tell you, I went back and I looked. I thought maybe I just didn't read it because I wasn't going there as media yesterday. I went back and I looked at the schedule that they sent out in the press release, and it said 3:00 Canadian national anthem performed by violinist Abigail Stahlschmidt, and then it said 3:01 U.S. national anthem performance with color guard, presentation by Fort Leonard Wood Joint Service Color Guard. Did not say who was performing the national anthem yesterday, so they kept it a secret from everybody until the U-Man announced it over So well done by the Cardinals, and it's making its rounds as well. By the way, if you have a chance, something else that has gone viral, if you haven't seen it yet, go and try to find, because I watched it when it happened. Go watch Hunter Renfroe's catch in the outfield yesterday during that Angels game. I physically don't know how that ball, like, that's one of those where you talk about a glitch in the Matrix. That's how the ball ended up in his glove. That's if that were to happen in a video game, that's where you throw the controller down because you think that there was some glitch in the game.
It's like he had a 360 movement on his wrist.
Yes.
Able to turn doesn't make any sense.
Like it went through the webbing of the glove and ended up on the other side. Like there's no physical way to turn your wrist like that to catch a baseball. Rammer, you are a lot of times when we do the show on Friday, people will see that you are down at Ballparks National. Tell folks about what you guys have going on there all summer long.
Well, yeah, we have competitive tournaments all year, and we're sold out tomorrow with softball and girls softball, and very exciting. And we kind of have to batten down the hatches this afternoon and early evening due to high winds. But Saturday and Sunday will be great, and second weekend of many to come. And you can always find out what's going on here at ballparksnational.com.
That'll do it for our show today of Daily Cards Live, presented as always by Mungenast St. Louis Acura. Find them online at stlouisacura.com and Royal Banks of Missouri. Stay safe out there tonight if you are in the path of the expected storm, and we will talk to you on Monday, recapping Cardinals and Blue Jays and giving you a preview of the Cardinals and the Braves at Busch Stadium, along with maybe some ticket giveaways. That's another thing too. Hey, pay attention to Twitter at Joe Roderick all weekend long. I believe I'm going to have some tickets to give away to this weekend's games, which includes Saturday's mystery bobblehead of either Albert or Yachty pitching. What a wonderful April Fool's giveaway that the Cardinals are going to have for you on April 1st. Until then, he is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We'll talk to you on Monday right here on Daily Cards Live on ClaibsOnline.com.
From our roots in St. Louis, Royal Banks of Missouri is branching out to continue serving you with our locations in St. Charles, Jerseyville, Granite City, and now in Hannibal, Center, and New London. Royal Banks of Missouri, the community bank in your community.